What's up, YouTube gamers? Young Soul dropping another video. It's been a long time, but we got this PS5 prediction video to do. So I'm back. I'm gonna try to make some more videos. I just been gaming a lot and talking a lot of smack. But let's get into this video, PS5 prediction video. Now I'm gonna go through the stuff that people probably already heard about. You know, some of these games here and there, because I got three bold predictions. Well, one somewhat bold, and then two unbelievably world-changing bold predictions. Okay, so we'll get to that at the end. We'll start the beginning with real quick, rattle off some of these games that most people already heard of or think that it's probably going to be there, you know, possible, probable, whatever. So let's get these out of the way. I think as far as exclusives, we're talking like first party or, you know, full exclusives. We're talking GT7, because if you remember, recently Gran Turismo just did some type of trademark thing within the last week or something, so that kind of tells me GT7 is probably going to be either a launch title or right there. And by say early, when I say launch period, I mean like the first, you know, 6 months of the generation, I'd say, is the launch time frame. So that's what I mean by that. So I think this is actually going to be a launch title, like day one title, but it might be like a launch window. So let's go with the next one. Blue Point's Demon Souls or Bloodborne. If I'm going to be honest with you, I guess this is a little bit of a bold prediction. I think both of them might be actually happening. I don't know if both of them launch anytime soon. I'm sure one of them does, but I kind of feel like both of them might launch at some point in the first year or two or whatever. So as far as right now, most people believe it's one or the other. So that's why I think it's pretty safe to say Demon Souls or Bloodborne. The next thing is Horizon Zero Dawn gets announced, and it's a launch window. So again, that first 6 months. So we're talking like February, March 2021. I don't think it's a launch day one, but, you know, like I say, February 2021, March 2021. And then I think Insomniac will have Ratchet and Clank. Okay, so I think that might also be a launch title. So I'm looking at like GT7, Demon Souls or Bloodborne, and Ratchet and Clank as like day one launch titles, and then Horizon Zero Dawn like a couple months, like 2 or 3 months after that, or 4 months, whatever. Now I think as far as like not first party, but like third party exclusives, I think they're going to show some more gameplay of Godfall, because they've already talked about that, but we haven't seen any gameplay, so I think that's a thing. And Silent Hill. There's too many rumors for me to believe it's not happening. Now, is it a full exclusive as far as not on PC? I think it'll probably be on PC, kind of like Godfall, where it's not on Xbox. I don't think it ever goes to Xbox, but I think it's on PC, so it's not like exclusive. It's the whatever the console exclusive people call. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, then we get to the just straight up multi-plats that are day one on everything. Everybody knows what we're talking about. Call of Duty. The next one's supposed to be like Black Ops Cold War or something like that. That's gonna be I think PlayStation gets like some of the DLC exclusive for like 1 week or 1 month. I'm not sure. I don't play COD as much, or at least not the newer COD. Some of the older CODs I kind of go through the campaign. But anyway, I think they'll have that. I think they'll also have 2K, because we just saw today Wario or somebody, or Nibion or what, I can't remember these guys' names, but Wario or Nibion say that there's like PlayStation, something under PlayStation with 2K, and so that leads me to believe, again, not an exclusive, not any type of exclusivity, not timed exclusive, just straight up NBA 2K. You know what I'm saying? So I can see that. And then the other one is Batman. Warner Brothers has been hyping this Batman stuff for a long time. So like, I think Sony already had to deal with Batman Arkham Knight back in 2015. So I can see them being with Sony again. Again, full multi-plat, no exclusivity. I mean, there might be DLC exclusivity for like a week or a month or whatever, but like it'll launch. The game itself will launch on everything day one. Okay, so now let's get into, since we got all that out of the way in the first 5 minutes, I apologize, that was a long time, but let's get into what I think are going to be the blockbusters, kind of like the out of left field. So I'm predicting my predictions, the bold predictions. Here's a bold prediction that's not super bold, but we'll get started. It's a good one to get started on. Number one, there's been this Naughty Dog rumor of this sci-fi, is either sci-fi or it's like space type game that they're, obviously single player focused game that they've been supposedly working on for a while. And we know Naughty Dog, I was about to say Sony Santa Monica, but we know Naughty Dog usually is working on 2 AAAs at a time. It's almost never the case where they get done with one AAA without starting another. So I think the bold prediction will be a teaser trailer, one of those 5-second, you know what I'm talking about, 5-second, real quick, teaser trailer, something showing, I don't know if it's outer space or whether it's sci-fi on this planet, but I kind of thought it said something about outer space, so let's just pretend it's outer space. It might be sci-fi but on Earth, but let's say it's outer space. They'll show something outer space like a different planet or the stars or something, and then say new sci-fi from Naughty Dog, and then obviously the coming soon, so they won't give a year or anything. But then that'll have people flipping out because it'll be the first time in a while, no, not Uncharted, not Last of Us, something completely different. So I think that'll be, but I think that's already, remember the rumors about that have already been out, so that's a bold prediction, but not crazy bold. Here's my two piece, hold the biscuit, world shattering bold predictions. Here they go. Number one, okay. They're going to, let me start with a slightly less bold prediction. Throughout the show, they're going to actually show the form factor of the console itself. They're going to show the console. They're actually going to show what it looks like, and I think they're going to show how quickly you can get in and out of games, how quickly you load screens, because they're going to show off this SSD. But okay, so that's a bit of a bold prediction. I have to put that out there because my super big bold prediction is they're going to announce the price. It's going to be $400. They're going to shake the world up because nobody's expected $400. Okay, this is my bold prediction, $400. Why? And let me get into why real quick. I think Sony, well, let me put it this way. We believe that the Lockhart is real. Okay? But I can tell you right now, Microsoft, obviously Microsoft, but Sony as well, they know whether or not it's real. How do they know? Because as reported a million different times, Lockhart would have a different teraflop Navi GPU, right? It's supposedly around 4 teraflops, 4 teraflop Navi GPU. Well, if they're already, both companies reportedly are already in production, which means they have to have ordered those, both the Lockhart and the Series X GPUs, both the 4 teraflop and the 12 teraflop GPUs, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of each, right? They would have had to have ordered those things already from AMD. And since Sony also goes through AMD for their chipsets, it's almost impossible to order that many two different type of GPUs. Remember, 4 teraflop and 12 teraflop, hundreds of thousands of each one, if not millions of each one, without Sony knowing that at all. I just don't buy that at all. So if it's real, which I do believe a lot of things are trending toward it being real, Sony knows if it's real though, and they will adjust accordingly. And the reason why I think the price at $400 is the killer price right there is because, yes, they take pretty decent hit up front. And I know people are going to say they don't want to take that hit, but I think they want to get a foothold on next generation. I think they want to jump out ahead. And because they don't have the power, they can have a price value. Now, they won't have the price in and of itself because the Lockhart will be cheaper, but they'll have the price value at a better value proposition. And here's why I say that. I believe the Lockhart at 4 teraflop Navi GPU is real, and I think it comes in at $300 bucks, right? $299. That means, in my opinion, the Series X at 12 teraflops can't be anything less than 500. Because you've got to have some space between. You can't just have $100 difference between Lockhart and Series X, because then what's the point, right? That's not a big difference as far as, trying to get people in. So you got to have it $200 difference, which to me says 300 and 500. And I don't think the Series X could come in under 500 because if the Lockhart's real. That's my whole thought. So PS5 at 400 comes in at the best value proposition. Why? Think about it. The Lockhart will be $300, and for an extra $100, you get over 100% more power, right? 4 teraflops compared to 9 or 10 teraflops, right? So that's over 100% additional GPU power, right? But the jump from the PS5 to the Series X is really only between a roughly 30% power jump, right? Because, well, if you look at 9, it's because, the PS5 is between 9 and 10 teraflops. So 9 compared to 12 is like 33%. 10 to 12 is something like 27 or 28. I don't have my calculator in front of me. Something like 27, 28. So the difference is roughly 30. So from Lockhart to PS5 is a 100% power jump. 4 teraflops to at least 9 to 10 or whatever. Over 100% jump. But then from the PS5 to the Series X, it's only a 30% jump, or roughly 30% jump. So that $100 is a big jump, and then not so big a jump. So that's why I think they can put themselves safely in there. And now so that's my mega unbelievable blockbuster 1, the mega unbelievable blockbuster 2, world shattering blockbuster 2, is that pre-order start. I want to say immediately, but I'm going to say starting Monday. Okay, and the reason why I say starting Monday specifically is because you've got to get your retail partners, the Amazons, the Best Buys, the GameStops, the Walmarts. You've got to get their website pages up and running. We recently saw real quick Amazon UK give like I think Nibion or again Wario64 or whatever just showed like a real quick picture of like an Amazon. It had a high price tag, but I think that's just a place marker, if you will. Just like what was that called? The Cyberpunk 2077 was $1,000, but I think it was just a placeholder. So I think this is the same thing. So I still think I'm claiming 400, and it'll start Monday because they got to get the weekend to let all the retailers put their websites up for pre-orders and all that, and allow them to all go at the same time. Because you don't want one retailer to get up and running before the other ones, and then the other ones cry not fair, blah 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 blah, internal politics, not nonsense and all that kind of nonsense. So if you have it Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, or whatever that translates in Europe and all that stuff, and then all the websites can all go right at one time. So that's why I say Monday. But that's why the price point gets announced. And the reason why the pre-order I think is a world changer is specifically because what's going to make it harder for Xbox is the fact that what they're going to have to do is essentially decide between setting up their pre-orders right away, because they don't want Sony to start having pre-orders. You know what I'm saying? Sony having a bunch of people being able to pre-order, and you can't pre-order an Xbox yet. That would be terrifying for them. Number one. And number two, I mean, well, they either have to start their pre-orders immediately, and the problem with that is they didn't show much gameplay. Think about it. That May event only had, Bright Memory or whatever? That's like the only gameplay they showed. Maybe a couple other little games, but really no gameplay to be spoken of. And none of their big games, like Halo Infinite, still hasn't seen any gameplay. So how are they going to do like YouTube commercials for their pre-orders with no gameplay stuff? Whereas Sony will have gameplay after tomorrow, after, this Thursday event, June 11th, they're going to have gameplay. They can start making YouTube videos for the pre-orders and all that stuff. So Microsoft either has to start the pre-orders with really no marketing, because how you going to market? You don't really have any gameplay to show off, or they have to wait till July, which is like a month. They'll have to wait a month before they can start pre-orders. That's gonna be a bit of a catch-22, and they'd have to make their decision. So I think Sony is going to do that. So those are my two big, bold predictions. $400 price tag and pre-order start immediately. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll hit you back. Peace.